Chris, thanks for speaking to us. What's the update on Sanders' hamstring injury, and will Ollie McBurney be fit for the Amex?
I think both players will be doubtful on assessment this morning. But I think Ollie's obviously got more of a chance than Xander. But as you can understand, with hamstring injuries, they don't really clear up in 2 or 3 days. And obviously, the quick turnaround from Thursday night to Sunday dinner time is quite a short period. So Xander extremely doubtful, and Ollie McBurney will give him the best opportunity of being available.
Do you think Sanders out for the rest of the year?
No, if I think he might be available for Sunday, I have to wait and see over the next 2 or 3 days. I can't make a sort of a decision on that in terms of a medium term, how long he's going to be out.
Chris, a lot to take out of last night's performance, of course, but going to Brighton, it's 1 point from 13. Is Brighton a must-win game really now?
I think we must win a game before Christmas. We have to just take every game in isolation, and we go to win every game. We didn't turn up last night thinking, we're here just to sit on the back foot, as you saw by our performance. So we went out to try and win the game. Unfortunately, we didn't. As you said, a lot of positives from the game. More of a Sheffield United performance, more what I was looking for. But you're right. 1 point out of 13 games is obviously not not a great return. Of course, the gap can't grow. So we've got to be looking to take some points over this Christmas period. Obviously, quick turnaround and a game. 4 games in quick succession. We have to take a healthy points total if we're going to give ourselves an opportunity of staying in division next year.
A year ago to the week, Chris, you were winning at Brighton 1-0 with McBurney scoring the winner. Are you going to be reminding the guys about that this weekend?
I think they recognise that they're not far off a win. All season that's been the case. But as I said last night, we can't get away from it. We haven't done enough or got above that line. The Premier League is ridiculously tight at times. A whole host of our results last year were tight games that we came out the other side on a positive way, and obviously picked up a decent points total. And obviously this season we haven't. But we talked about it, for quite a while now. After a decent performance, of course, and I think obviously that gives you the best opportunity of getting a result. But as I said, it's the tight games. A lot of them all this season. I should imagine the majority of the opponents we have played would be saying, think that they should be on more points than what they are. Statistically, we feel we should be, but statistics don't decide a game. Sticking the ball out there, sticking the ball in the back of the net, and keeping the ball out of the back of the net is the biggest statistic that I'm interested in.
Sure. Things could though change quickly with a couple of wins, and Brighton haven't won a home game in the Premier League at the Amex in 10. They're not so good at home right now.
Well, they're a talented side, and they'll be looking. As I said, they've had tight games right the way through the season. There's a few games I'm sure Graham and Billy would have looked at the same as me and said we possibly we should have turn those sort of draws into wins. So that's how tight the game is, and how tight the division is. I got on great with Graham, and he's a talented manager, and you've got a lot of talented football players, and I think you just know how difficult this division is. In Brighton, a fabulous football club that I know a little bit about. Great facilities, obviously, they're having a little bit of struggle, but I'd rather be in their position than ours. So a quick win for them will obviously get themselves going, and we've got to do our best on Sunday dinner time to make sure that doesn't happen.
Chris, last night the Premier League again rejected 5 subs. They're going to allow 9 men on the bench, and they've approved concussion subs. Sheffield United, one of the clubs, who rejected the idea. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, 1 of 10. I'm one of 10 managers there, or part of 10 football clubs that made that decision. So, I've talked enough about that decision and that situation, and that's passed me by, if I'm honest.
Sure. Just finally, what do you make of Big Sam's return to West Brom, and the fact that he always keeps teams up, and is it by implication bad news for Sheffield United that he's going into West Brom right now?
We've just got to take care of ourselves, I can't be interested in what West Brom do. I know Sam. I've spoke to him through this period. He's been a great help to me through my managerial career. I played under him at Notts County when he was a manager early on in his career after Blackpool, and for me, he's had a fabulous managerial career. And as I've said, I said last night and before, every club has a story. So obviously, West Bromwich Albion have made a decision, and Sam Allardyce's track record is second to none. But from my point of view, Sheffield United is my full focus. Great amount of respect for what Sam's done in his career, but I've got to affect what I can affect, which is obviously at my football club.
Cheers, Chris. Good luck.
Cheers, Jeremy. Thank you.
Hi, Chris. Morning. It's Andy from Radio Sheffield.
Hey, morning, Andy.
Morning. A couple of quick ones then. Look, just on the performance last night, how much was that a reset of standards, and how you would want it to continue in the games going forward?
Yeah, definitely. Those sort of, I do get it, and it's still difficult to accept. But in a season, those performances sometimes do crop up. I'm not saying that over the 40, 80, 120, 160, whatever games I've been here, that every performance has been a full tilt performance that I would have wanted to see, and my supporters and the supporters of the football club would have wanted to watch. So through that time, there has been, I remember one at Hull, there was one at Walsall. So there is, you do, but I don't like them. I don't like them, Andy, and I have to remind the players that, which I obviously would have done, and looked for a big reaction for themselves, really, because I think they realised in the change room, sat in the change room at Southampton, that wasn't good enough, and not good enough to what we have set the bar at in terms of. I keep saying it, a Sheffield United performance, what I want to see and what the supporters want to see and what they should be given out there. But better last night. Disappointed yet again, as I said, in the manner of the goals. It's Manchester United and everybody, possibly neutrals, will say it's a fabulous ball, it's a brilliant run, it's a fabulous finish and the counter attack for the third goal. But there's bits and pieces in there where we have to do a little bit better and make it a little bit harder for the opposition. But as I've said for quite a while, this division punishes you, and they've done that to better teams than us. They couldn't do that to anybody, and unfortunately we were on the receiving end of it. But we did, and I did want to see that type of performance, and that has to be, as you said, a Southampton can't really happen many times now between now and the end of the season. And if we produce what we produced last night, I think everybody in the football club that has the ability to affect results will believe that will pick up points, those type of performances, when you're playing against those type of players. And if we can produce that type of a performance, then hopefully we can start moving forward.
To that extent, then, how's Aaron Ramsdale right now? After the game last night, you felt compelled to take to social media to say, "Look, I'll take the criticism that comes my way," kind of thing. How's he? How are you managing him right now?
Yeah, we talked to him and we talked to all the players, and he's going through a tough period of his career, but he's got to smile and battle his way through it. That's how it is. You know, it's as I've said. You know, we've signed him because of what we know what he's about. You know, he plays at an international level because they know what he's about, and he's going through a tough period. We all are. So, you know, there's instant judgment in this world, isn't there, about how you are, and you have to take, you know, the good with the bad, and we all have to do that. So he has to do that. You know, he's a good goalkeeper. Nothing really changes. We've signed him for 3 years. We haven't signed him for 13 games. We're not ripping his contract up. You know, he cares about this football club. I know that. Because of what he's about and what I know of him as a person and as a player. And he's disappointed. He wants to produce flawless performances, of course, and any slight mistake gets punished at this level, and that's what's happening at the moment with not just Aaron, with everybody, and everybody has to come through that. So, you know, I don't dictate to them what they have to do on social media. I think you know my views on social media, but he'll be getting a bit at the moment, as we all are, and we have to take that on the chin, as I said previously.
Great, thanks. I don't need loads today, so best of luck.
All right, cheers, Andy. Thank you.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Paul.
Good to see you, pal.
And you, mate.
Obviously, in the last week, the board have come out and given you their full support. Is that the same on your part in terms of whatever happens this season? Because there are some fans, and you know that I know them, who are worried that there might come a point where you would walk away. Is that ever in your mind?
I'd only do that, Paul, if I thought it was the right thing for Sheffield United Football Club.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only time that I would do that. The club means far too much for me for it to be about me. It's about what happens for the football club. Whether people above me give me their support or the decisions or whatever, I understand that and respect that. But I'm working away. As seen in last night's performance, there's still plenty of heart and spirit in this group. And as I said, the quality of the opposition last night. You know, this is who you're up against. And you make the slightest mistakes on the pitch and you get punished, and you don't take those big opportunities, then it comes to hurt you. But going back to your question, Paul, only if I thought it was the right thing for the football club, and you know, that's genuine, because you know what I'm about as well, and what I feel and think about this football club.
Was it important to you to get that support, though, Chris?
No, I'll be honest with you. It's fine. It's the decision of the owners what he wants to do. As I said, there's always a story at every football club. You know, I talk with the owners, and you know, we're not all happy with the results, of course. So he isn't, and I certainly not, and the players aren't, and everybody with the football club aren't. I appreciate it. I'm not being disrespectful towards it, but if nothing was said, then I carry on. If something was said, then I appreciate it and move on. But my work doesn't change. My work doesn't change here. My approach doesn't change here, and that'll always be the same.
But what I thought was encouraging, you know, from the Prince was the fact that he is taking a long-term, pragmatic view to all of this. Yes, you're concerned with the here and now, but you know, he is looking at the future. Do you feel the club is in, you know, despite the predicament you're in, do you feel the club is in good health though going forward?
We need to catch up on a lot of fronts, and the Prince knows that, and I've told and expressed my views on that. You know, from academy, from infrastructure, from facilities, from a lot of things. You know, a couple of things that I've talked about recently, which which we talked about how many times you've been in the Premier League over the last 25 years, how many times we've been in the top division of English football over the last 50 years. And this is not an overnight catch up for us as a football club, but every club, as we talk about, has a story to it. Only the people inside the club who know the club, who support the club, know that story. So, obviously, this week there's been, a departure of a manager and a lot of talk about that. There'd be a lot of talk about my position. Should I go or should I stay? And that is, that's talk from people maybe who don't really know what this football club's about. And obviously the Prince does. He's supported me in terms of money to bring in players. We've talked about it, how difficult it is to bring in the ready-made player into this football club. So, yeah, is there a long-term view on it? Well, there has to be, and I'm sure there is from the owners. But as I said, I'm trying to bridge that enormous gap. It's a huge gap that we're trying to bridge because of the speed of our achievements and our journey, and it's difficult, and it doesn't happen overnight, and sometimes you have to take a bloody nose and you have to take one on the chin, but you have to keep fighting back, but you have to look as well as always as a short, medium and long-term view of where you want to see the football club, and I'm sure the owners have got that view.
How crucial are these next 3 games now?
Yeah, I mean, you can't hide away. I don't like putting the TV on, of course, because you don't like to see what is there in front of you. There's an 8 or 9 points gap now, and we can't afford to let that increase, and we have to, for our own benefit. For last night, Paul, I think we needed a big performance, and people will say, well, you got beat at Man United and they had the possession and they had the chances. That's Man United, but it wasn't one-way traffic. It was competitive. We had to make it competitive, and the players needed a performance for themselves because of what happened over the weekend. So now the challenge is to take that on now and add a big performance to try and get a big result.
Finally, from me, will you be able to enjoy Christmas this year?
No, mate.
No?
Nah. No, I don't think anybody will, with what's happening in the outside world and what's happening in this football club. But you have to get on with it. So whether people think that's a negative attitude, I think that's just an honest attitude. I don't think a lot of people will enjoy Christmas this year with everything that's going on in the world, let alone what's happening in the football world, and then let alone what's happening at Sheffield United. There might be a few managers at the top of the table. I imagine, a few of those boys might enjoy it a little bit more than what I am, but we want to win, and we're not enjoying this period of results at this football club. And I am going to be that manager that has to drive it on, and I've got a switch, Paul. Of course, I'm going to go into the players and be positive with them, because if I have that negative attitude to the players, I don't think we sort of produced those performances that we have done, or that one last night. So, but overall, it's it's going to be a tough Christmas period, and hopefully I'm smiling come the end of it and into the new year.
Wish you a good one anyway, mate.
Cheers, Paul, and you, mate. All the best to your family, mate, as well.
Cheers, buddy. Thank
Try,
you.
mate.
Yeah.
Jackson, when you're ready.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Jason.
You mentioned about how it's a quick turnaround between last night's match and against Brighton on Sunday. A few other Premier League managers like Jurgen Klopp and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have talked about sort of a duty of care to the players and how it's often a quick turnaround. I was wondering, Do you hold the same views, or are you happy just to get on with it?
Just get on with it. Fixture list is there. It's always been the same over Christmas. It's always been the same for those teams competing in Europe at the top level. It's always been the same for those teams that are challenging on four fronts. They want to challenge on four fronts. Love the ability to challenge on four fronts, but I think at the moment we're challenging on two. We're still in the FA Cup, I think, aren't we? We haven't been knocked out of that one, have we? I don't think so, but yeah. So that's how it is. That's what the fixture list is. It's been like that for 40, 50, 60 years, and of course, obviously the intensity of the games, but squads are bigger, and I don't want to really go into all that nonsense again, but. We get on with it. It's a quick turnaround. Yeah, we have to look at the players from our point of view. A lot of energy went into the players. Have to try and get that team right. We've got some big decisions to make. Do we freshen it up? Do we keep faith with what happened last night? Obviously, we've lost Sanderberg, which is a huge miss to us at the moment. We'll give him the best opportunity of trying to get him back, but it's doubtful he'll be available for the weekend. So we have to deal with that one. Losing him last night was a big blow in the game. But the fixtures come thick and fast, and it's a big period for all of us.
And going back to last night's game, there was a little bit of a clash with the opposition manager. You seemed to patch things up at the end of the game. I saw some quotes from Ollie saying that the two of you would have a drink after the game. Did you have that drink?
Yeah, always gets invited in. Everybody does. Whether they take that invitation is up to them. But yeah, I invited Ollie and Mickey Phelan and everybody in. Huge amount of respect for that football club and those coaching staff and manager. He's a good manager. I mean, the intense pressure that comes with managing Manchester United, he understands that, and he understands that we're going to make contact with them. So he's passionate about his football club. I'm passionate about mine, but no issue at all. Shake of an hand afterwards, wished him all the best, had a beer, invited him to the office, and wish him all the best for the new year and the remaining part of the season.
I don't suppose I could ask what was said on the touchline, or is that too much?
No, just words, because we want to win, and he said something, and he obviously got a reply back from me, and it was done and dusted straight away. It's only you guys that make a big thing about that. I think people in the game that play it and manage it and coach it, that goes on all the time. That goes on 24/7, and I think he'll do anything for his team to get a result, and I will for mine. So that's the way it is. It's absolutely fine.
All right, yeah, that's all from me.
Cheers, Jackson. Thank you.
Good luck on Sunday.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Phil at PA.
Oh, hi there, Chris.
Hi, Phil.
Hi. I was just going to say on the 5 subs, given that 10 teams did vote for it, do you think there's a chance at all that it will come in at any point?
I don't really want to talk about it, Phil. I've got to say I'm bored about it, if I'm honest. I'm bored about what went off. There was a vote. There was another vote. There was another vote. So I've moved on. Sorry, but I have. Sorry, I've moved on with that.